the decisions I believe are right for the right reasons. And coming here was the right decision for the right reason.
I know this came out a couple of days ago, but I have been meaning to make a video about this, but I've just had a lot on my plate the last couple of days and I haven't been making a huge amount of videos. But I've got some time now, so I do want to talk about this because it is something I want to talk about, and I do have some opinions on some of the things that she has said in this video. Start off with what she said at the beginning there. Moving to the London Stadium was the right decision for the right reasons. Now, what I think she means by this is financially it made a lot of sense for West Ham United to move to the London Stadium. A lot more sense than doing something like renovating Upton Park. The London Stadium was a ready-made stadium. It was already there. It had a large capacity. It just needed a few things to be done to it to turn it into a football stadium. Now, we'll get into whether it is a football stadium or not a little bit later in this video, but as I say, it made financial sense because we were never going to be able to renovate Upton Park to a point where we could hold as many fans as the London Stadium. We wouldn't have been able to turn Upton Park into a 60,000 plus capacity stadium. All right, and it would have cost a lot of money to renovate that. So moving to the London Stadium made a lot of sense because it saved a lot of money, but it also made the club a lot more commercially viable. So not only did it save West Ham money, it allowed West Ham United to be able to generate more money that could be spent on improving the team. That was the idea, a larger capacity to generate more money through ticket sales and making the club more commercially viable, which would also generate more money to help West Ham United build a bigger and better team to hopefully take West Ham United to the next level. So when you look at it from a business point of view, it was the right decision for the right reasons. However, although West Ham United is a business, it is also, and more importantly, a football club. And when you look at it from that point of view, I'm not totally convinced that it was the right move for the right reasons. Because while there definitely is an argument that it has been beneficial in some ways for West Ham United as a football club, there's also an argument against it because there has been a lot of negatives and there still are a lot of negatives right now. But I do think we are still in that process. The process hasn't completed yet. I know it's been nearly 10 years, but I think there's still a lot of stuff that can be done and will be done to improve the London Stadium. So maybe in 10, 15, 20 years time, we will be looking back on this decision and saying that it was the best thing that has ever happened to West Ham United. But there is also a possibility we could be looking back in 10, 15 years time and saying that it was not the best thing to ever happen to West Ham. And I actually think right now we're at a critical point where decisions need to be made that will dictate how we will look back on this move in the next 10 or 20 years, because there's a lot of decisions that could swing it either way and they need to be made for the right reasons, and the right reasons now are footballing reasons more than financial reasons.
I knew there would always be an element of supporters that didn't want to, and people don't like change. I mean, it's true. Most people want things to stay the same, but actually without change, you can't evolve.
Now, what Karen Brady says here is true. People do not like change, but I think by saying this shows her lack of understanding in not only human behaviour, but West Ham United fans in general. Because people are more willing to accept change when they feel that the change is a positive one. And for a lot of West Ham United fans, moving from Upton Park to the London Stadium has never been seen as a positive change. Yeah, there has been positives to West Ham United moving to the London Stadium, but it's never really felt the same, and it never really will feel the same as Upton Park, because Upton Park was a proper football stadium, and the London Stadium is just not. It's a great stadium. It's an incredible stadium, but it is not a brilliant football stadium. Now, this doesn't mean that it doesn't have the potential to be one. I think that it does, but it's not there yet. So for all those West Ham United fans that had a deep connection to Upton Park, where Upton Park meant a hell of a lot to them because they were going there for years and years and years. I was going there for over 20 years and I absolutely loved Upton Park. That change is a lot more difficult to come to terms with, especially when it doesn't feel like it's been a positive change. When I'm talking about it not feeling the same, I'm talking about that match day experience. It doesn't feel the same going to the London Stadium compared to when we used to go to Upton Park. That whole match day experience is just very, very different now. You know, we used to walk down the street past all the traffic, past all the houses, you know, the fish man singing his song in the market, the smell of the burger vans, the walk into the stadium, you could feel the history. You know, it was old, it was a little bit dirty, it smelt a little bit, but it was home. And you miss those things after you've experienced them for so long, and that's why I really enjoy going to a lot of these away games at some of these older stadiums, because you get a little bit of that feeling back again, feeling that you just don't get at the London Stadium. And that unfortunately is something that you can't recreate, and over time you will start to get into new habits, which she does kind of talk about in this, and it just becomes the new norm. But for people who were experiencing that for many years, that feeling added to the match day experience, and when you take that away, your match day experience is just not the same.
It's given the opportunity for 35,000 families to come in here every match day. We have the cheapest season tickets, despite being in a new stadium in London in the Premier League. We have the cheapest adult season ticket at 345 quid. All of those things are possible because we're here.
Now, this is what I meant when I said the right decisions need to be made. Now, okay, she mentions families and ticket prices here. Now, we'll touch on ticket prices in a minute, but let's start with families, all right? Very true that when we first moved to the London Stadium, it was very affordable for a family to get a season ticket to go and watch West Ham United. But that's not so much the case now, because West Ham United had removed concession prices. So let's take a granddad, a dad and a son, for example. Buying a season ticket 6 years ago, the granddad would have got concession prices, the kid would have got concession prices, and the dad would have paid a normal price. But those same three buy a season ticket next season. It's not the case, right? Because everyone's paying the same price. So as a total, it's considerably more expensive for a family to go and watch West Ham United now than it was when we first moved into the London Stadium. And while it is true that we still do have some of the cheapest season ticket prices in the Premier League and in London, those cheapest tickets are for right up in the gods. Okay, so they're not brilliant seats, and our prices keep on going up every single year, and they're rumoured to go up between 2 and 5% next season. So how much longer they will remain the cheapest season tickets is yet to be seen. So the right decisions that need to be made now is, one, ideally freezing season ticket prices, or if they can't and they need to go up, minimise that rise as much as possible. Number two, most importantly, reintroduce concession prices, because those concession prices not only make it more affordable for the older generation to continue to come to West Ham United, but it also makes it more affordable for the younger generation to come to West Ham United, and they are the future of West Ham United. They are the future fans, and they need to be prioritised. But right now they are not, because we are looking at this from a business point of view, not a footballing point of view. And from a business point of view, tourists generate more money, so they are prioritised. And that also causes issues in other places as well, which I'll get to in a second.
So I think you have to try and bring people on the journey with you. We tried really very hard. Lots of people are now used to the stadium. You get into new habits, you find new friends, you find new routes to getting here, new places to drink, and everything is calm. And people, I think, are now beginning to realise that it's not stadiums that create atmospheres, it's supporters. And they've had some brilliant nights here, and long may it continue.
She's right there. Fans do create atmospheres, not stadiums, and we have created brilliant atmospheres in that stadium before. But stadiums do play a part, and things you can do in stadiums also play a part. Standing, for example, West Ham United fans are continuously told they're not allowed to stand in the London Stadium, and when you're standing at a football ground, you're more likely to sing and chant and create an atmosphere. Now, for the most part, West Ham United fans do ignore that, so I don't know how important that actually is right now, but still, I think we should be prioritising creating safe standing areas. That stupid wall that is in between the home and away fans needs to go, because that allows for a little bit more banter, which also helps create more of an atmosphere. Now, in West Ham's defence, I don't think they put that up. I think that was the London Stadium who put that up, but still, that thing needs to go. Got too many tourists in the stadium now and opposition fans, and they're not going to sing and chant like West Ham United fans would. Acoustically, I don't think the stadium is brilliant personally. You've got two massive gaps at either end where sound can escape, so I think naturally it's a lot more difficult to create an atmosphere in there. And overall, I think that the fans are not particularly happy, and that plays a part. You know, it's not just the performances on the pitch, but it's a lot of the things that are going on behind the scenes as well. And all of that has a negative impact on the atmosphere that can be created in the stadium. But despite all that, I still think we could do better as a fan base. because we have proved that we can create an atmosphere in that stadium, but we only seem to do it for big games. And I feel like we should be trying to do it a little bit more, and we can do better. But all those things that I did mention do have an impact, and there are a lot of things that can be done to help improve it. But at the end of the day, it is the fans that create the atmosphere, not the stadium. So while there's things that can be done to improve it, us as a fan base should be doing better. Why do we need the team to perform on the pitch for us to get motivated? Why can't we be the motivation for them instead? So in summary, I do feel like eventually West Ham United's move to London Stadium will prove to be a positive thing for the club as a whole. It hasn't fully proved to be a positive move just yet. There has been positives, but there's also been a lot of negatives as well, and those things need to be addressed, and they are continuously not. Now, there's some things they can address, and there's some things the club can't address in regards to how the stadium looks and changing things actually within the stadium. They're limited to what they can do because they don't have that much control. I think they are looking to have a little bit more control, and if they get that control, then they need to listen to us fans to understand what we feel like needs to be done to improve that stadium. But there's also things that I think the board can do in regards to improving fan relations as well, by starting to listen to our concerns when it comes to certain issues like concessions and ticket prices and a few other things. Because at the moment it just feels like we are continuously ignored when it comes to those issues, and it feels like that we're not being prioritised. The only thing they really care about is that bottom line, which is important. That bottom line is important, but so are us fans. The fans who have been coming to West Ham United for the last 10, 15, 20, 40, 50 years, and will continue to come to the club and support the team for the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years in the future as well. What we feel and what we want is really important. Players come and go, managers come and go, owners come and go. Fans are forever.